This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
And Grant Hall with us here on Halftime for a Wednesday morning. Hi, Grant. How you doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
You got it, man. Always appreciate talking with you. Were you? I'm assuming you were at the game last night. I wasn't able to watch for the first 15 minutes. I listened while I was running some errands after the baseball game. I had a lot of people couldn't get their eyes on the game, but before they could even turn it on, it was pretty much over because Nick Smith and Ricky Council IV they took Georgia to the woodshed along with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I was at baseball and basketball yesterday, and got through the traffic jam. Make it over there in time after the baseball press conference, and it was a fun day on both counts, although I don't think Dave Van Horn enjoyed the first few innings too much in baseball.
Baseball, all right, fun? We can use that term in some ways. The first 4 innings yesterday, 5 innings were not so much fun. They were head-scratching, and some of it is not like usual midweek stuff you'd expect. 2 pitchers that are expected to do big things on the weekend, Zach Morris and Will McIntyre, did not look good. And base running mistakes. So they won the game. So that's the overarching thing. But there's a lot to clean up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Josenberger. It's the first time I really kind of got to see him in a press conference situation. Of course, they never got him. Well, I guess they got him out on the sacrifice fly, but he was 2 for 2. Filled up he went 2-2-2-2 on at bats, runs, hits, and RBIs. And he, as he said, he sets the table. He's going to be a great leadoff man this year. Goes from first to third in your face with a center fielder 30 or 40 feet away, kind of daring him to throw him out at third. And he's going to do that a lot this year. But the guy, he's one of these guys. He kind of reminds me of Turner last year when he comes into the post-game scene, and just very calm and collected and analytical and a mature baseball player, I would say.
Yeah, I think so, too. I'm excited to watch him the rest of the season. Matt, it was funny. We had they announced before the baseball game, they had a run rule. If Arkansas or Grambling were up by 10 or more at the end of 7, game would be over. What about a point rule for basketball? If you're 30 in the last 5 minutes, can we just not play the last 5 minutes?
I get that. I think that's kind of bulletin board material for Arkansas to do that when the team comes in and just kind of fuels it. Don't wake them up or do anything to make them mad to give them any extra. But that's like boys club rules. When you're up 20, the clock runs, continuous clock. Yeah.
Why do we do this in baseball and not in basketball? Because basketball run rule Georgia last night, Grant.
And points matter on your seeding. They can matter on your seeding in basketball, yeah.
Well, last night, Matt, the fans started leaving with about 10 minutes left. Part of it was the lateness of the game starting and everything. But I think this one guy, one of my friends, walked up past the media area and he said, "I can't take it anymore." He was talking about, I think there were 20 fouls called in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Oh, and nobody was making free throws. Yeah, what was going on?
I mean, the game kind of came to a stop, and it's too bad they left in one way because there were some fun moments at the end with Lawson Blake getting in there, and scoring.
Oh, that was
taking
cool.
a shot from a frustrated Georgia
and
player.
flexing, showing the gun.
He won't score another basket all year.
But it won't matter.
That's exactly right.
Did you see the tweet the basketball team put out afterwards the game that said everybody on the roster has scored now this year?
That's cool. That's cool.
I mean, half the team was on the floor almost to the free throw line after he scored. They were getting a big kick out of it. It was a fun night, and it's interesting. All of a sudden, the reaction, like on the SEC network, I even think I heard somebody say Final Four again with Arkansas, which was a team a week ago. People wonder if they're going to make the NCAA tournament and stuff like that. All of a sudden, Nick Smith hits 5 out of 8 threes, and finally you see what all the commotion was about him around the country. I really think, guys, that in this basketball season where no one seems to want number one for very long, if Brazile and Smith had been healthy all year, you might be looking at Arkansas at number one right now in the country with that team that they could have had.
But Grant, even without Brazile, I mean, this looks like a pretty darn dangerous team. Georgia's beaten some teams that Arkansas has not beaten. So
these next 3 games are going to be very important on our progression.
And
important, but also just interesting to see.
Oh, they're going to be awesome. Yeah.
How Arkansas matches up against these three teams, and that is whether or not Alabama's got Brandon Miller.
You said this yesterday that they're all kind of one-off games, and it is. It's going to be a tournament-like atmosphere in all three of these next three games. And maybe I'm having a little too much belief, Grant, right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if this team went 2-1 in these last three games.
I wouldn't either. Tennessee's got a couple of guys hurt. Alabama's in the
who knows, right?
Where, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think they knew how to handle that. They really mishandled the situation. I even wonder if Greg Sankey might even get involved, at least behind the scenes.
I don't see how he doesn't
help them along. Because it's not. I mean, yesterday there was a story, or at least today, I guess the word gun appeared in a story about an LSU football player.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors. That's right.
Yeah, and the Alabama situation. This is not something that Greg Sankey likes to see, or really any of us that follow SEC sports. So, I think Eric Musselman did a wise thing last night by having his pre-Alabama press conference last night before anything else happens there, and it just stuck to the basketball part. But, I mean, in one way, if Arkansas goes in there and wins the game at Alabama, everyone's going to say, well, Alabama was distracted by all the other stuff off the court. And I'm not so sure Arkansas doesn't just go in there and win the game, Matt. I'm with you. I think they'll go 2-1 at a minimum these last three games.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised. And Coach Muss has his team playing right. I mean, I love some Ricky Council coming off the bench. I love his game. I mean, he's just packs a punch. And I was trying to think, Grant, throughout the years, does he remind you a little bit of like a Brandon Dean? How athletic? Ricky Council might be. I thought Jordan Walsh was the most athletic guy on the team. Ricky Council might be the most athletic guy on the team, and that kind of made me think of how Brandon Dean was a little undersized, but man, he'd get up and dunk on you just like Ricky will.
Yeah, he had that coming out party in that SEC tournament they won that year, which I think
with Joe Johnson.
The only SEC
yeah.
tournament Arkansas has won. Yeah, but yeah, Council. I mean, just for fun, he reversed dunks and things, and I think he doesn't mind at all the sixth man thing. He
embraces it. Yeah.
He did it well for a couple of years before he got here, so that seems to be working.
But the way that Muss uses the sixth man, he's been searching for the right sixth man all year long.
Right.
Turns out maybe it just you needed,
we had injuries.
You needed to have, and you still don't have your full complement of who you thought you have. You just have more than you had a few weeks ago, and more than you had a couple of weeks ago with Nick starting and playing those minutes. But Ricky's playing starters minutes, and how about this? Nobody played more than 30 and a half minutes yesterday. Of course, it was a blowout and a tighter game. Maybe things change, but the rotation is different now. It is different now.
Including Anthony Black. Yeah, Anthony Black, one of the most encouraging things to me was to see him and Smith interact together in post-game. They clearly like each other. They like finally playing together at this level. And
if I was a dunker, I would love Anthony Black as my point guard.
And Grant, I'm telling you, the best players always stick together. They game recognize game. Like you want some help out there, and Anthony Black can see. You know whose job's gotten a lot easier, Grant? Anthony Black's job's gotten a lot easier with Nick Smith out there.
And he doesn't mind it. And people kind of wondered about, to kind of going from the main man to not being somebody. Although last night, he had more assists than he did shots.
Oh, he was so under control. Yeah.
Right.
Grant, the men's team now seems to have solidified themselves as far as a bid to the NCAA tournament now. The women's team, I saw the last bracketology. They're on the first four out, according to Charlie Cream. I thought going into these last three games, and that starting with this past Sunday's loss to Georgia, they probably needed 2 wins in order to secure a bid. And then at that point, you're probably still on the bubble. I wonder what you think.
Well, I heard your interview with Mike after the game the other day, and he actually mentioned the letters NIT.
The first I'd heard it too.
NIT.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of, he almost, I don't know that he sounded resigned. He sounded a little bit philosophical, like, this is a team of pleasers. You sort of look at some of the top teams like LSU and South Carolina and how tough some of those players are. Arkansas's got a nice group of players. But you wonder, like, I think it's going to be tough tomorrow night, don't you, Phil, to win that game on the road. And then I think they can beat A&M okay. A&M's losing to everybody this year. But maybe they have to win a game or two in the conference tournament.
They certainly have to do a little resume padding in order to make it. But you're right. That was the first time I'd heard Mike mention the NIT. But he does expect to be postseason bound at some point. It's just I don't think any of us expected that it would. And I think the coaching staff would agree on this point. You didn't expect that it would be the NIT this year.
They've lost confidence, and sometimes you can get it back pretty quickly if a couple of kids make 3-point shots early or something. But that was what they couldn't. They struggled, didn't they, in that game from 3-point range?
Yes, there was 5 for 33, I think it was. Chrissy Carr hit the only 5. The rest of the team went 0 for 20. I think they're feeling pressure. I think the starters are feeling pressure to do a little too much because it's just I haven't been getting a lot of help off the bench from your reserves. Grant Woolley.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.